Welcome back on Guard Army. Today we are going to be going over a Gardevoir EX deck without Battle VIP passes. I know that this isn't exactly a new concept. Celio's Network won a massive online tournament a little while back with a Gardevoir deck without Battle VIP passes, but I feel like recently people have kind of written off the deck. I still think that the build without Battle VIP passes is really good just because it has access to basically all of its pieces throughout the game. And I'll show you why in this deck profile. To start, we have two Gardevoir EXs with the ability Psychic Embrace. This allows us to, from our discard pile, take as many Psychic Energy as we want from our discard and attach them to our Psychic Pokemon in any way we want. For each one we attach, however, we will need to put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. We also have 2 of the Baby Gardevoir with 140 HP, with the ability Shining Arcana, which lets us look at the top 2 cards of our deck, accelerate any basic energy we find there, and put the rest into our hand. So it's basically just a straight up draw 2 with the chance to accelerate energy. It also has the attack Brainwave for 60 plus 30 more damage for each psychic energy attached to this Pokemon. So with Psychic Embrace being able to put up to 6 energy on this without it dying, and then attaching for turn, you're able to do up to 270 damage without any other potential way to modify damage. If you accelerate one off Shining Arcana as well, you could be doing like 280 or 330, or if you're behind on prizes, with Reversal Energy, you could be hitting upwards of like 360 damage. Gardevoir EX also has an attack called Miracle Force, which does 190 for 2 Psychic and 1 Colorless. It won't come up super often, but it can come up occasionally if you need to swing with a tankier attacker. But for the most part, we are going to be swinging with our 1-prize attackers. Or 1-prizer attackers as long as they don't have Luxurious Cape on them, which does make them into a 2-prizer. Then we have 3 of the Refinement Kirlias. Refinement is an ability that lets us discard a card from our hand and then draw 2 cards. This will be great for getting our Psychic Energies into our discard pile to accelerate off of Psychic Embrace, as well as just being good overall consistency for the deck. But because we are not playing 4 of the Refinement Kirlia, we are also playing 1 more Kirlia with Mirage Step. This is a 1 energy attack that lets us search our deck for up to 3 Kirlia and put them onto our bench. So, because this is a little bit of a slower start deck, since it's not playing Battle VIP passes, all we need to do is have 1 Ralts established by turn 2 that we can evolve into this Kirlia and use Mirage Step to put the rest of our Refinement Kirlias onto the field, establishing our engine and letting us evolve up into our Gardevoirs relatively easily, and being able to candy up any other Ralts that we get down onto our field throughout the course of the game. Speaking of our Ralts, we have 3 of the Teleportation Burst Ralts with 70 HP. This does 10 and lets us swap to our bench, so we can potentially preserve our Ralts if need be, if we don't just want to hard retreat with it. And then we also have 1 of the Scarlet and Violet 70 HP ones that has Psyshot for 30 damage, which in the mirror can come up because it does enough to actually KO some targets at times. Also, we would normally be playing a one of the 60 HP Memory Skip Ralts, but since we're more frequently seeing Urshifu decks and Valiant decks, it's definitely not the best time to be playing a 60 HP basic that we have to play down to evolve. So we're playing the Scarlet and Violet 70 HP Ralts that does 30 damage for 2 energies. Past that, we also have Cresselia with Moonglow Reverse. It also has Lunar Blast for 2 Psychic and a Colorless that does 110, but the main attack that we are playing this for is Moonglow Reverse. This lets us move 2 damage counters from each of our Pokemon to one of our opponent's Pokemon. So we can establish some energy with Psychic Embrace, snipe one of our opponent's Pokemon, and heal off all the damage that we put on with Psychic Embrace, while also taking a KO in the process. This is also great for setting up math with our Gardevoirs, because being able to get an energy on it and then heal off some of that damage means that that's more energy we can accelerate to the Gardevoir later. Then we also have Scream Tail. This has the attack Roaring Scream, which does 20 damage to one of our opponent's Pokemon for each damage counter on this Pokemon. Without any other way to boost up our health, we can swing for upwards of 160 damage to either their active or their bench. So potentially we could strand something in the active and start shooting something on the bench. However, with Luxurious Cape, we can give this an extra 100 HP, putting it up to 190, meaning that if we damage it up to 180, putting 9 energy on it, we can snipe something for up to 360 damage, which is absolutely insane. Then we also have Mew, which is a fantastic consistency card. In the early game, most of the time, we are going to want to attach Retreat into Mew, and then use Mysterious Tail to look at the top 6 cards of our deck and grab a trainer there. This can grab us another Ball Search card, so we can establish another Ralts, to make it where we can more easily get into our Mirage Step Kirlia by turn 2, and actually establish our board. Then we have Manaphy. Manaphy will be able to defend our bench, allowing us to avoid pesky turn 1 or turn 2 Greninja plays, where they just want to snipe our Ralts. We can protect our bench in order to allow us to evolve up into our actual attackers, so we can actually get going in the game. And then we, for another consistency card, have Radiant Greninja. This has concealed cards, which allows us to discard an energy from our hand to draw 2 cards. This is great for getting our psychic energy into the discard, as well as being additional draw for the deck. Then we have the best disruptive card in the game, Iono, as we are going to start the game behind on prizes, as we need about 2 turns to set up our game state. So being able to slow them down after they've taken a few knockouts will be good. It's also consistent draw for us throughout the course of the game. We also have other combat cards such as Counter Catcher and Reversal Energy, but we'll go over those a bit later. Next, we have Professor's Research for a little bit of discard draw. If we have a bunch of energy in our hands, sometimes we'll just straight up want to go for research. We can research our way our hand, get a fresh hand, and get a ton of energy in discard, ready to accelerate with Psychic Embrace. Then we have a Worker, which draws 3 cards and discards a Stadium in play. This is great raw draw that can just build up a hand for us, but it also removes any pesky paths if we're up against a path deck, which is very important. Then we have a Professor Turo scenario. This is really good against Stall and really good against the dark decks that may want to just target down our Gardevoir EX. We can just straight up pick up one of our Pokemon and put it back into our hand. We have to discard all attached cards, but we get all of the Pokemon line back. So we could use Psychic Embrace, Accelerate to one of our attackers, Turo, pick it up to make sure that our opponent can't Gust and KO it, play back down the Ralts. We could evolve one of our other Ralts on the field into a Kirlia, so it is ready for the next turn to evolve into Gardevoir again, to accelerate again onto the field. Absolutely fantastic being able to move our stuff around like this and to take off liabilities from our board. I don't think that any Gardevoir should be not playing Professor Turo's scenario right now. And then we also have one boss for if we happen to not be behind on prizes at any point in the game, but we still want to gust something. Boss's Orders will always be a good card. Then we have 4 Ultra Ball. This is able to discard cards from our hand and search our deck for any one of our Pokemon. Can grab absolutely any of our Pokemon line, and is great discard fodder for the ability to get more Psychic Energy into discard. Then we also have 4 Level Ball. This grabs us most of our basic Pokemon, aside from Cresselia and Radiant Greninja. This can also grab us our Kirlias, so in the early game we want to establish our Ralts, want to grab our Mew, want to grab our Manaphy. In the mid game we'll grab our Kirlias in order to get our engine established, and then in the late game it can also grab our Scream Tail, so we can be able to snipe our opponent for a ton of damage on the bench. And then we also have 4 Fog Crystal. This doubles as both a basic Psychic Pokemon Search out that can grab us any of our Ralts, Cresselia, Scream Tail, or Mew, but can also grab us a basic Psychic Energy, which a lot of times we can combo with grab a Psychic Energy and discard off Concealed cards, grab a Psychic Energy, discard off Refinement, or grab a Psychic Energy as discard fodder to discard off Ultra Ball to grab one of our Gardevoirs. Like, ton of different routes that you can go with it. It's just great consistency and great for being able to find our energies throughout the course of the game. Then we move into our rare candies. For anything that we don't want to just manually evolve up through Kirlia, if we can establish a Ralts at any point in the game, sometimes we will want to just straight up jump into one of our Gardevoirs. Or if we happen to not be able to Mirage Step in a turn, we may have a Ralts that we need to get into Gardevoir EX, so digging for a rare candy may be the thing that you need to go for. We also have 2 Counter Catcher because, as I said, we are going to be taking about 2 turns to set up, and will most likely be going behind on prizes. Having Counter Catchers means that you have Gust that you can grab off of a supporter, or off of Refinement, or Concealed cards, or even off of the Mew. The Mew can actually grab this card. So having a Gust that you are able to get without it using up your supporter for turn opens up a ton of lines of play, including being able to Counter Catcher stall something, Iono them down to a low hand size so they have less options, and then go Scream Tail to try and snipe one of the things off their bench, leaving something stranded in the active. I think Counter Catcher is absolutely busted in this deck, and you should not be playing less than 2. Then we have 2 Super Rods, great for Pokemon and resource management overall, being able to get back our Gardevoirs, Kirlias, Raltses, any of our attackers, Radiant Greninja or Manaphy if need be, if they target that down to try and snipe your bench. Super Rod is just a fantastic card. You can also put back any of your basic Psychic energies in order to try to either draw into them for attachment for turn, or to try to hit them off of Shining Arcana in order to accelerate an additional energy onto your field. We also have a PAL Pad, which is great for being able to manage any of our supporters. This can allow us to use up to 6 Ionos in a game, and we can use up to 2 of any of the other supporters that we run, including our Research, Worker, Turo, and Boss. Then we move into the Pokemon tools. We have 2 Luxurious Cape, which gives an additional 100 HP to non-rule box Pokemon, so this can be used on anything except for our Gardevoir EX, but if we attach this, it does make the Pokemon we attach it to worth 1 additional prize card. So our Gardevoir can now, with up to 240 HP, can accelerate up to 11 energy on it, plus attachment. So it can be swinging for upwards of 390 damage if we play 11 Psychic energies, which is absolutely insane. Luxurious Cape on Scream Tail also lets it swing for upwards of 360 damage for only 9 energy. If we damage ourselves 9 times all the way up to 180 damage, we're doing 2 times that, which is 360 that we are able to snipe the bench for, which is absolutely insane. Most of the time we won't need to actually hit that high of a number, but this just shows how powerful this tool card can be in a pinch, and I think that 2 Luxurious Cape is correct here, because sometimes in the game you'll need to use it a little bit earlier to hit a higher number, and then you'll also need one for the closer of the game. So I think that 2 Luxurious Cape is correct here. Then we also have a Collapse Stadium to be able to clear things off of our bench. Great for limiting our opponent's bench space, great for being able to clear off something from our bench that has a little bit of energy stuck on it that we want in our discard pile in order to allow Psychic Embrace to actually hit numbers. So Collapse Stadium is good for that. It's also nice against control in a pinch. If we Boss's Orders up something and then retreat something to the bench, we can Collapse Stadium it off of our field so it's no longer a liability that can be gust stalled by Block Snorlax or something. I think Collapse Stadium is a great card to have in Gardevoir. It opens up a ton of different lines of play. And in addition to that, we also have an Artazon. Artazon is a stadium that lets us search out any basic non-rule box Pokemon from our deck, so it can grab any of our basics except for Radiant Greninja. This is great for establishing a Ralts, establishing Manaphy, grabbing our Mew to retreat into to try and establish more stuff onto our field. Just an absolutely great card. It is perfect for your setup at the beginning of the game. And then for our energy, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Psychic Energy, which I have found to be a really good number. Most of the time over the course of the game, we only really need to use 8 of them. Although sometimes we will need to use a little bit more of them, or they'll get stuck somewhere or prized. So 10 has been an absolutely fantastic number for that. And then we also have 2 Reversal Energy. So while we are behind on prizes, we can attach this straight up to Gardevoir. It can just be an attachment without needing to even Gardevoir EX, and we can swing for 150 damage immediately. Or, while we are behind on prizes, we can swing for upwards of 360 damage without even needing the Luxurious Cape, with the Reversal Energy attached. With the upper range of 270 plus the 90 from reversal as the attachment for turn. I think that is absolutely fantastic. I think this list is great, and the versatility of being able to find your Pokemon throughout the course of the game, like being able to Super Rod things back in and have more outs to actually get them out of your deck, is absolutely fantastic. So, I'd like to know in the comments below, do you prefer the Battle VIP Pass build, or do you prefer the build without Battle VIP Pass? And let me know why in the comment section. Hope you all have a lovely rest of your night. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you all later.